50 police officers undergoing security training ahead of the Islamic Conference Summit. President Adam Barrow promised to introduce highway ambulances across the Gambia. Guinea military junta rules out exile for ex-president Alpha Condé. And General Lamin Bojang denies allegation of pointing a gun on youngsters who attacked his house. This and more coming on The World Today. Hello, and this is the World Today newscast with me, Mariama Champ. Thanks for joining us, and now the news in detail. Gambia intensifies preparation ahead of the Organization of Islamic Conference, OIC, with the training of 50 police officers in security-related matters by trainers from Turkey. The trained police officers will be responsible for VIP protection, among other issues, during the Banjul Summit. Details of that in this report. These men and women in uniform will undergo a 2-week series of security training as the Gambia heightens preparation for the high anticipated Heads of State and Government Banjul Summit in 2022. Considering the limited time before the Islamic convergence, the OIC together with partners deems it necessary to train police officers on maintenance of peace and security for the delegates in the country. Yankuba Diba, Chief Executive Officer of OIC's Secretariat, the Gambia, explains the importance of standard security during and after the summit.
We are gathered here today to witness yet another initiative that will impact positively in maintaining peace and stability in this country. With support from our friendly Republic of Turkey, a total of 50 security personnel over a course of 2 weeks will benefit from high-level training in the following areas. 1, protection of important facilities against terrorist attacks, and 2, VIP protection and handling, amongst many. The capacity building program is part of our goal of equipping the police and other security services with modern apparatuses and technical know-how to keep the streets of the Gambia safe before, during, and beyond the summit.
Tolga Bermek, the Turkish ambassador to the Gambia, lauded relations of countries, especially in the security sector, with Asian countries providing various trainings for the Gambia security services.
During the past few years, we have organized several training programs for our Gambian friends, either in Turkey or in the Gambia. We have shared our experience and knowledge with Gambian officers on protocol issues 2 years ago. And another protocol team will arrive to the Gambia next month for an additional training.
Commissioner of Police of the Intervention Unit, Adelaine Basange, outlines the security challenges that lies ahead of the summit, noting that the police need to be trained to enable them to execute their functions.
Over the year, the Gambia Police Force have conducted a series of training, knowing the fact that securing a very high important event like the OIC, which is the second largest in the world, is not an easy task. So in order to do the work effectively and proficiently, you need to train your personnel. And this is why partners like Turkey and other partners have been coming to the aid of the Gambia Police Force in order to train its personnel to take up the task.
The OIC Secretariat is planning to train 2,000 police personnel before the forthcoming OIC summit in the country. The police are also expected to go for the same training on how to handle VIP protection and other security issues. The 15th Heads of State and Government Summit will be held in the Gambia in 2022. The government of the Gambia has since set up the OIC Gambia Secretariat to lead the government's efforts to host a successful summit. For iAfrica News, I am Mariama Cham. Police officers there undergoing a security training ahead of the OIC summit. Now, President Adama Barrow has promised to introduce highway ambulances that will respond to emergency situations in different parts of the Gambia. He delivered this commitment during a meeting in Tabatu as part of his 2021 Meet the People tour. Barely 2 weeks ago, the Gambia government presented community ambulances to strengthen the needs of health facilities across the Gambia. Fatmata Kasim has the rest of that in this report.
After the formal presentation of 20 fleet of community ambulances last week by the Ministry of Health, the President is now distributing the ambulances to various constituencies as part of his Meet the People's tour. The community ambulances are expected to strengthen health facilities in their rapid response programs. The President promised to break records by introducing highway ambulance program in the Gambia.
2022. Owi si Allah jabi gilande ma 2022 kata for 2026 al nene man do ko men je Gambia wodo.
Whatever happens in the Gambia, that's what my government will introduce in the country. There was nothing like community ambulances in the Gambia. We will not only stop there, we will also introduce highway ambulances very soon. We will place ambulances on the roads for emergencies. Whenever there is an accident, you can call these ambulances to take the people involved to the hospital. That is also on the pipeline, and it will soon be introduced. We will go to all the communities to give them the same number. This is how we want to work.
The President assured that his government is more committed to the implementation of the National Development Plan. And being a businessman instead of a politician, he emphasized how serious these development plans mean to his government.
I
am not a politician. I am a businessman. So whatever I promise, I fulfill it. The attitude of politicians, I will never do that. That is, they will only come and give you empty promises. As part of the gifts I am giving, I will be constructing an industrial borehole costing $7 million for the people of Woolly East. This is not like what the opposition built for you people. That is a borehole that will only operate for a few days. But this is not a political borehole, but rather it will serve the people of Woolly for 20 years. The tank's capacity is 60,000 liters, and before 2023, more than 600 communities will have electricity.
The tour, which started on the 13th of September, is a constitutionally required engagement that allows the President and his cabinet to dialogue with Gambians and gather first-hand information on the impact of government policies and programs in order to address them adequately. During the tour, President Barrow is expected to hold 20 general meetings as well as inspect ongoing road construction project in Hakalan, Jimbala, Bambali, the OMVG power plant in Soma, and other development projects across the country. Reporting for iAfrica News, I am Fatoumata Kasim.
President Barrow promised to instill community ambulances across the Gambia for emergency purpose. Now, the military in Guinea-Conakry said they will not allow Alpha Condé to seek exile after regional mediators attempted to mount pressure to secure his release. The military told journalists after meeting with ECOWAS leaders that they will not yield to any pressure, saying Condé is and will still remain in Guinea-Conakry. More in this report.
A day after ECOWAS representatives left Conakry, the military junta briefed the media about its response to the regional bloc's demands. Colonel Amara Kamara, the spokesperson of the newly formed Guinea National Rally and Development Committee, spoke on some of the pressing points. They include ECOWAS' call for the release of Alpha Condé, who has been in custody since his government was overthrown on 5th of September.
It is clear to all the parties that the former president will remain in Guinea and at the location chosen by the CNRD. However, all measures will be taken to respect his physical and moral integrity. Alpha Condé is in a safe place and benefits from all the treatment due to his rank.
Spokesperson Kamara told the journalists that plans are underway to have Guinea back under constitutional rule. ECOWAS had insisted on a 6-month transition to a civilian administration.
The President of the Republic, Mamadou Doumbouya, reminded his hosts that it was important for ECOWAS to listen to the legitimate aspirations of the people of Guinea. He insisted on not making the mistakes of the past. To avoid these mistakes, he informed the ECOWAS delegation that the national consultations had begun and that only the sovereign people of Guinea would decide their destiny.
The military junta says it will not be affected by the announced ECOWAS sanctions, including a freeze of its leaders' assets and a travel ban.
The president responded by saying that we in the CNRD are soldiers and that our action took place on Guinean soil. We do not need to travel and there is nothing to freeze in our bank accounts.
ECOWAS leaders had earlier met the junta. Ghanaian President Nana Akufo-Addo and Ivorian President Alassane Ouattara had said the discussions were fruitful.
Now, the military in Guinea, they said they will not allow Alpha Condé to seek exile after regional mediators attempted to mount pressure to secure his release. Now, the party leader of Alliance for National Reorientation and Development, General Lamin Bojang, has denied allegations of pointing guns at youngsters in connection with the attack on his house. This report came following the death of one Abdoulaye Sane, who was allegedly stabbed by one Yusuf Bojang, the nephew of General Bojang. This is the reports.
This is the second time in a month featuring reports of young men stabbed to death in different circumstances. This Sunday incident created a lot of fusion among youth in Brufut, who were said to be the friends of the deceased Abdoulaye Sane. Angry youngsters attacked the house of General Lamin Bojang, the uncle of the alleged perpetrator Youssoufa Bojang. Eyewitnesses said that General Bojang had pointed a gun on these attackers at his house, but he denied the allegations.
I have never used force against the people of Brufut, and I don't want to start it when I'm into politics. So I did not use weapon. I did not use weapon because I did not have a weapon at the time. But if anybody wants to confirm this thing, they can go to the military. I was a military officer, and then at the time I was legally armed. I was given a weapon for my personal protection. And when I retired, I have returned it to their inventory. And there is a procedure that has to follow that. And if anybody doubt me, you can go to the police, you can go to the military, they will show you my records.
As the Gambia braced up for the upcoming presidential election, Bojang said people are using these allegations to deviate his goal for the presidency.
I'm a retired general. These are kids. They are my nephews, they are under alcohol, influence of drugs and stuff like that. How can I use weapon against them? And I have never said it anywhere. Ninga kido soto mba yusulala does not mean that ninga kido yusume mo falale. When I say that statement, that is an exaggeration of the pain and the difficulties we were going through at that time. To say that if I have a weapon, I could have fired one shot just to chase them away, just to allow them to leave the compound. That was what I mean, but I did not use any weapon. But from yesterday night, I'm armed now. So in case anybody is approaching the retired general's house for those kind of activities, they are unacceptable.
General Lamin Bojang was speaking to iAfrica TV on a side interview after a special live program with him on Thursday morning. He argued that he will not fall for politics of deception and that he is not prepared to go down because of these allegations. According to him, lots of damages have been caused on his home because of the attacks from the young people involved in the scene. He, however, holds no grudge about their reaction, in view of the fact that the young men were expressing concern over the killing of a fellow.
A group of people came to me, that was after the police arrest, came to me and appealed on behalf of the people who were arrested. And I made the same statement. I told them that our sorrow, we are sharing the same sorrow, the same pain, and the same disappointment with the deceased family. So we do not want to count the loss on our side in terms of material gains or in terms of the monetary part of it. What really concerns us is about the person who lost his life, and the cause of that was through our own son.
Mr. Bojang said that the family has done lots of efforts for the alleged perpetrator to become a better person in the society, but these efforts were all fruitless. According to sources, Abdullah Sane is the second person killed by Yusufa in less than 2 years. His first victim was also stabbed during an argument, but then Yusufa was later released by the Brikama Magistrate Court because he was a juvenile. He was again taken to court on Wednesday. Ndai Cisse, 5 African News.
General Lamin Bojang there denies allegations of pointing a gun at youngsters in connection with the attack on his house. We will now go with a quick break and we'll be right back with the rest of the news on the world today. Stay with us.
The locations, the design, the materials used, all the way down to the latest details, are few of many things that we focused on when we envisioned the airport residency. As proud innovators of community estates, the airport residency in Old Yundum, a project by Swami India International, offers unique gated community with 3- and 4-bedroom villas and duplexes. Just 5 minutes away from the Banjul International Airport. Luxury, convenience, and accessibility are some of the reasons you should consider this great housing opportunity. With a clubhouse, a playground, access roads, and parking facilities available for your dream home or a valuable investment, you will find all you need at Airport Residency here in Old Yundum.
CAF Africa Global is the first and biggest private estate developer in the Gambia and present in 7 other African countries. We take pride in leading innovation in all spheres of real estate sector in the Gambia and beyond. As such, we are launching the development of the first smart and modern office and retail towers in the Gambia called TAF Twins. The TAF Twins is located in the heart of the Kanifing institutional area and 10 minutes drive away from Banjul. TAF Twins is designed to have 5 floors of office spaces ranging from 50 square meters to over 1,000 square meters with 2 elevators, central air conditioning, 24 hours electricity and water supply, with the ground floor reserved for banking, supermarket, restaurant and coffee shop. For your bookings and reservations, please call now on 376-2333 or 776-2333. Thank you.
Welcome back from that break. You're still watching the World Today newscast, and now to the rest of our stories. In their efforts to open up economic and social activity following a 3rd wave of COVID-19, the government of Zimbabwe has barred unvaccinated public servants from reporting for work. The move has drawn criticism from the country's labor union, and more of that in this report.
This is one of the main government complexes in Harare. For the past few weeks, the only visitors allowed in had to be vaccinated. The restrictions have now been extended to people who work inside this building. Government has begun implementing a rule that bars unvaccinated civil servants from reporting for duty. They will forego pay for the missed days and could lose their jobs altogether if they refuse to get the jab. Trade unions have criticized the directive.
What we are against is when then you have someone who is not vaccinated, for whatever reason, and then to be discriminated. We do have a challenge with that until when we have a legislation that then forces everyone.
However, some ordinary citizens back the government's move.
Yes, I support that. Because, why must you be a danger to those other people who have put some safety around you and the others? Because the moment if you are selfish, then you say that I'm not going to be vaccinated, you are going to be the killer. Right. Hence, I'm saying everybody needs to be vaccinated.
There are fears some may end up making an uninformed decision.
Some people, they're just doing it so that they can fit into their community where they're supposed to be. But if you ask them questions, did you do it willingly? And were you aware that if you get this injection, these are the repercussions? Most of the people doesn't have that education.
With a court ruling pending over a challenge to mandatory vaccination orders given by some employers, the country could be entering a legal minefield.
Legislation would not resolve this challenge, because the question becomes, we are talking about the right to conscience. So even if you are going to put in a law to say everyone should get vaccinated, what are we saying about your right to conscience, your right to opinion? But at the same time, what also are we saying about the broader public rights or for public health?
According to the government, 90% of people hospitalized for COVID-19 are not vaccinated.
Zimbabwe's government has now barred unvaccinated civil servants from going to work. Now, university students across Afghanistan have started returning to school for the first time since the Taliban took control of the country. But female students have been separated from their male counterparts through the use of curtains. Details of that in this report.
A curtain separating men from women. Only female teachers teaching female students. These are only some of the new policies that are being implemented as private universities resume classes under the Taliban rule. Some female lecturers said these measures will put further strain on cash-strapped academic institutions.
These policies are not financially feasible in most cities because many institutions lack even the budget to paint the walls, let alone build separate classes for men and women.
Some students also feel these changes are an impediment to holistic learning.
I think partitioning classes with curtains will create psychological barriers to learning. I also think that both private and public universities don't have financial and logistical capabilities to support this policy.
But there are some who welcome this decision by the Ministry of Higher Education. Private universities that had gender-segregated classes in the previous administration are not affected. Their more pressing concern is how to get more students to enroll in classes given the country's economic situation.
Only 50% of our students have returned to classes and only 2 students have paid their fees because banks are closed.
Some administrators and educators also believe the new setup will create a safer environment for female students.
Educational programs should be provided separately for women because chances of harassment and sexual abuse are very limited in single-sex classes.
I, as an educated woman, feel entirely safe and comfortable when I'm surrounded by women.
Others hope this will encourage more women to pursue a college education.
This policy of separating women from men may improve education in Afghanistan. This could definitely promote women's education.
Afghanistan universities have resumed lectures, but male and female students are being separated with the use of curtains. Now that brings us to the end of the World Today newscast. I am your presenter, Mariama Cham. Thanks for watching and goodbye for now.
Star GSM has new arrivals of home appliances with 2 years warranty and a promotion on 2-way gas cooker, gas or electric, at a cost of $10,000, which used to be $17,000, and a